Hey, hello, good morning guys, this is Coding with Gautam and today we will be creating an ideal clicker game. So first let's see how this works. After we run the code we get a Pygame, so basically we have about, so we basically click, we'll see how much score we can get. It's about 15 seconds and yep, time's up. Your score is 19 and the clicks is 19. So basically we're going to be creating a simple idle clicker game just to play for fun. So let's dive into the code. So first we will use Pygame for the game interface, random for the placement of the box, and for the placement of the targets, and the date time. This is basically date time and will be used to record the start time of the clicker test. Time delta will be used to check for the 15 seconds. So I just made it 15 seconds so that the video can be faster. So it's a 15-second time. So time delta is used to calculate how much time has elapsed. Date time is to record the start time. Random is for the random placements of the targets, and Pygame is for the interface. So then color definitions. Basically, we're going to be using black for the background, white for the click, and red for the targets. These constants are represented in the RGB color, red, green, and blue for each value, and they'll be used later to draw the screen background, the text, and the target. So let's do the screen dimensions. The screen is 600 on height, 800 by 600, and these lines define the width and the height. Then you initialize Pygame. So pygame.init initializes the Pygame library, making functions and modules available to use. Screen makes Pygame display set mode, width, and height. This line creates the main game window with the specified dimensions 8 by 600 pixels, and it returns a surface object which represents the drawing surface of the window. The screen variable is then assigned to this object. Then pygame.display set caption, basically here. Clicker test, basically this sets the title. As you can see when we run, I'll show it to you later. At the top it says the title, which is clicker test 15 seconds. Then the target class. So this code defines the class name target. A class is basically a blueprint for creating objects that share the same attributes. So for example, if we're creating a class for the enemy, so we can have very different types of enemies, but they have the same attributes. They're hostile towards the player, they deal damage, they can move, and yeah, so instead of recoding this for every single time we create a new villain, we can just use the class enemy to combine all these to induce abstraction into our coding. Then we initialize the class. This is the constructor method. It's called whenever the target object is created. It's basically a 50 pixel target, and the X is basically self size. You make sure that it's within the width, and then the Y, make sure it's within the height. You generate a random one, and then the color is red. So basically the X is self.size. You generate a size between the, you generate a random integer between the size and the width. Then you generate another Y integer between the size and the height. So you basically are trying to make sure that we generate X and Y coordinates that fall within the window and that the target isn't outside where the player cannot see it. Then we use the draw self. This method defines how a target object should be drawn on the screen. We use pygame.draw rect screen on the screen, self.color, the color, self x, y, and x in the size that we gave, so 50 by 50. And then we use pygame.rect draw to draw it. Then let's go to the game variables. We start with the target. The target is the instance of the target. We create a red square. Then the score equals 0. And X then, which will track how many times the player clicks. Clicks is how many clicks we did. And if we click off the target, that counts as a click but not as a score. Running is basically the loop will continue to run. So running is true. Start time is datetime.now. So this line gets the current date and time using the datetime now. The function stores it in the start time variable. This will later be used to calculate elapsed time. So then we do while running to basically this line starts the main game loop. It will continue to execute the code as long as running is true. So Then we start with the event handling. For event in pygame.event_get, this line iterates through all events that have been queued since the last iteration of the loop. These events could be mouse clicks, key presses, window resizes. We are looking for mouse clicks specifically. Then we use the if event.type equals pygame.quit. This line checks to see if pygame is quit, if it generates when the user closes the game window. If the event is quit, then the running variable is set to false, which causes the main loop to terminate. And then we check if event equals pygame.mouse button down. This is generally when the user clicks the mouse button. So if we click that, that counts as mouse button down. Check if it's near target. We check if this block of code checks the if statement checks if the mouse click falls if the mouse click, which is event.position where the event happened, and event.pose 0 is the x, event.pose 1 is the y coordinate. These represent the x and y coordinates of the mouse click respectively. The rest of the condition checks if the click coordinates are within bounds of the target's rectangle defined by target.x, target.y, and target.size. If the click is within the target area, the score is incremented by 1 and the clicks counter is incremented, and then you create a new target. So basically now we have our the game functionality done. Now we're just creating the screen. So we scale the screen with the black color as our background. Then we draw the target, display, score, and clicks. So the font is basically, we're not choosing any font specifically. And then score text, we're just rendering the score text in. So basically it will basically say score is this and clicks is this in the top left. So that's the position 10 40. So basically this shows that we will see the score and the clicks. Then the elapsed time, this basically checks for, it takes date time dot now, basically the current time, subtracts it with start time from the current time obtained by using datetime.now. If elapsed time is greater than or equal to time delta and minutes equals 0.25, 1/4 of a minute is 15 seconds. So if 15 seconds have passed, the running variable is set to false, and then the end text, so basically it renders times up, your score, clicks is clicks, true, and its color white. Screen blit NX in the screen blit function, this line uses pygame.blit to draw the end text onto the game screen. So here we have the end text ready, but then we use screen.blit to actually draw it onto the screen. And next thing we use width divided by 2 and height divided by 2 to basically make sure it's in the centered horizontally and vertically. Then basically we update it using pygame.displayFlip. This line updates the entire display surface of the game window. All drawings and text updates will be made since the last flip will be reflected on the screen. And next time quit Pygame after we're done. It initializes all Pygame modules and it makes sure all resources are cleaned up. So first make sure you install Pygame, pip.install Pygame, and after you do that, it just says requirement already satisfied. And yep, so now we can actually play the game. So you can see the title up here, score 0, click 0. Now let's start. So here we can see we're doing pretty good, and yep, time's up 15 seconds. We got 14 was our score and our clicks were 14. We can see that it is trying to quit Pygame, which is eventually done faster if you just force quit it. It takes time to quit it, so I can just force quit. So yeah guys, this is how to create a simple idle player, just a click test game. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. This is Coding with Gautam, and I'll see you next time.